For the second year in a row, or really the first year, the New England Patriots are in a coaching search. And not just, hey, we like this positional coach from 5 years ago, since 5 years ago. We're not going to interview anybody else. It's already been written in his contract. Why don't you just step up to the big office? It's not that. Thank God it's not that again. Tried that, didn't work. And again, if you're looking at the history of the Kraft family owning the Patriots, you had hard-ass, very successful head coach Bill Parcells falling out with the Krafts. Nice, soft landing spot, nice guy, players guy, Pete Carroll. It got much worse. You go back to the hard-ass coach that knows how to win football games. You have the greatest dynasty in the history of sports. Fall out with the Krafts. You go to the nice guy. It blows up in your face again. So now we are in the cycle. It's time for the hard ass that wins football games. Welcome to New England, Mike Vrabel. It has to be Mike Vrabel. Just has to be. He wants to coach this team. Amazingly, even with the Drake Maye thing and having your franchise quarterback, you look at the rest of this franchise and to say, yeah, I want to go and coach there, that's a blessing, okay? Don't fumble that. Mike Vrabel is talking with the Jets last week, literally is just lip service, just to get you jealous, to say, hey, maybe we'll need to make a move and be decisive about this. The Patriots have, there's already reported interest in Ben Johnson, who is someone that at the end of the day, I'd probably still love to have, but I gotta be honest, I'm wary of going to another first-time head coach after what just happened with Jerod Mayo. Now, I believe that Ben Johnson is probably more adept to handle a step up like that. He's been a coordinator. He's been other places. He's been a very, very successful coordinator. You know, the Lions are the 1 seed for the first time ever. They made the conference championship game last year. I think that's a risk probably worth taking, especially with a pretty dynamic offensive guy when you've got, your franchise quarterback right there. But it's going to be really tough to say no to Mike Vrabel. This is a guy who was a coach of the year in the NFL. He brought the Titans to an AFC championship game. The only time they've done that in the last quarter century. So, the proof is already kind of in the pudding for Mike Vrabel. Hard-ass guy, not going to take any shit. Also from the Belichick tree, but also has not coached under Belichick, has coached other places in the Belichick tree in terms of he had his best years playing for Bill Belichick, but has coached other places, knows other people, knows other franchises, what works, what doesn't. Has it just been under the Belichick umbrella for his whole football career? I think it's a no-brainer to bring in Mike Vrabel. And I'm not saying he's going to go in there and win you 3 Super Bowls. But in terms of the guys who are out there, I think he's got to be the best option. And I think it stinks that the Giants are sticking with Brian Daboll because I would love to bring him in as your OC. But we've already heard rumors of Mike Vrabel coming to New England and bringing Josh McDaniels with him. Bringing the band back together. I think Mac Jones' career would have been much different if he had Josh McDaniels for more than 1 season. You want to develop a young quarterback with Josh McDaniels? I'm taking that any day of the week. Or just somebody with a track record that could come in here. Is it Josh McCown? Is that the one who's with Minnesota? Cade McCown, whatever one. I think it's Josh, who's with Minnesota and has made Sam Darnold a comeback player of the year. And has them, they've only lost 3 games all year. They're going to finish second in their division, or they already did, but that's crazy. Bring in someone like that who's proven they can run a dynamic offense, not like Alex Van Pelt, and don't have an arranged marriage in there. I think it'd be pretty tough for that to go wrong. Now, are they going to be a good team next year? Almost certainly not. No. But we saw Mike Vrabel take a Tennessee team to the AFC Championship game within 2 years and had to make some tough decisions there. Had to bench Marcus Mariota, who was the number 2 pick in the draft just a few years before, someone they had as their franchise quarterback, to go with a retread and Ryan Tannehill, and it worked. And he had to go with kind of an unconventional offense in 2018, 2019, and run the heck out of the football with Derrick Henry, and it worked. He made him into an MVP candidate. I mean, it worked. Here's a guy who's 9 games over 500 in his stint in Tennessee, which had not seen a stint of that kind of success, a 3 or 4 year window of success, for 20 years. Mike Vrabel did that. He's a legend in New England. He's got enough Belichick shine on him, and he's not going to take any shit. He's not going to get a Gatorade bath after winning in week 1. He's not going to have some stupid friggin' handshake with his offensive coordinator after they score a touchdown in the midst of a 4-win season. And he's sure as shit not going to go out there and try to prove something when you're 3-13 and prove, hey, we're not as bad as you think, after that ship has already sailed and fucked up your opportunity at the number 1 pick in the draft. He's not going to do that either. I'd go as far as saying you won't be challenging for that number 1 pick with Mike Vrabel as your head coach. You're not going to peak in week friggin' 1 and give up shit after shit for 16 weeks after that. I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but he's not going to do that. And I'm stunned that the Kraft swallowed their pride and actually made this move. Now it's time to not beat around the bush, spend some money, and get a good head coach in here and a dynamite offensive coordinator. And replace the defensive coordinator too. They're on borrowed time. Again, stunned that Alex Van Pelt and DeMarcus Covington still have jobs at the time of recording. They won't by the end of this week. They will not. And I would be awfully surprised if 8 days from now the Patriots don't have their head coach. Because to me, it's Vrabel number 1, priority number 1, and probably Ben Johnson number 2. And they have already asked to interview Ben Johnson. Mike Vrabel's got to be pretty soon thereafter. And I didn't want to make too much of this, so I didn't bring in the clip. I probably should have. But when you go back to Vrabel's induction into the Patriots Hall of Fame last year, remember the one that the Titans owner got pissed at, that he told the Patriots fans, we got a game to win. This dude was buzzing with the red blazer. And he gets up there and he says, knowing that it's in the midst of a bad season and there's a lot of talk around the ownership and around Belichick and the development of the quarterback, he knows that there's all that in the air. And he says, guys, do not take this for granted. You have an awesome organization with great coaching and great leadership, standing up for his coach a little bit, but also telling you that he literally says, this is a special place. Like, again, Mike Vrabel does not take any shit. That's not lip service. He believes that. And all the reports that have come out the last week and a half of Mike Vrabel wants to coach here, that's coming from Mike Vrabel. He wants to coach this New England Patriots team. He wants to be the guy that turns this around. And you know what? If 2 to 3 years from now it doesn't work out, you have a lot less to point at in terms of revisionist history than you did with Jerod Mayo. Because if you're the Kraft family and you want to save face, which is what they really, really care about, if this doesn't work out in 3 years, you say, you know what? We brought in a guy who was a winning head coach, who loved this organization, who wanted to coach here, had a proven track record of winning in this conference. And he brought in Josh McDaniels with him, who's been very successful for us. It didn't work. We're going a different direction. This year, what you say is, yeah, I know most of us thought that this wasn't going to work out from the beginning, but we really thought for some reason it was going to work out. Mike Vrabel is the guy. Mike Vrabel is the next head coach of the New England Patriots. Don't overthink this. If it's Ben Johnson, then at least there's some excitement there. You're still taking a risk, But the risk with Ben Johnson is much more exciting than the risk with Jerod Mayo. Okay? You can say, hey, this is the way the league's going right now. You need to go offense. We think we've got our franchise guy at quarterback. We've had a lot of trouble drafting and developing and identifying offensive talent the last few years under defensive guys. We're going to bring in our offensive guy. And you look what he did with the Lions. This was a team that won like 2 games in Dan Campbell's first year, and they're the favorite in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. So in that case, I'm okay with that. I am okay with you saying, hey, it's a risk, just like with the last guy, but it's a more exciting risk. But if I had to put money on it, of course, I'm putting it all on Mike Vrabel and probably losing money because it's such a popular pick. Mike Vrabel is the next head coach of the New England Patriots.
We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.